Most cats have very simple dreams. They want to sleep, chase lasers, and knock things off tables. But my cat is different. My cat has a dream: to become a professional chef. Every morning he walks into the kitchen like he owns the restaurant. He jumps onto the counter, looks around very seriously, and inspects everything like a food critic. He sniffs the vegetables, checks the table, looks into the pan like he's planning the greatest recipe in history. According to my cat, the first rule of cooking is something called quality control. This means he must smell every ingredient before we cook it. Tomatoes, onions, chicken, everything must pass the inspection. But sometimes his inspection ends with the ingredient falling off the table. 2. Apparently, pushing things onto the floor is part of the cooking process. Once the ingredients are ready, my cat begins the most important job in the kitchen: supervising the human. While I'm standing there actually cooking, my cat sits beside the stove, watching me very carefully like a manager at work. Every move I make, he watches closely. If I cut vegetables, he stares. If I stir the pan, he stares. I'm pretty sure he thinks I'm the assistant and he's the head chef. But supervising is not enough. A true chef must also taste the food. So, every time I turn my back for 1 second, my cat suddenly appears next to the ingredients, trying to take a bite. Chicken. Taste test. Fish. Taste test sauce. Also taste test. Also taste test. 2. In his mind, he's not stealing food. He's making sure the recipe is perfect. Of course, cooking with a cat is not always peaceful. Sometimes the kitchen becomes complete chaos. A spoon on the table? My cat pushes it off. A bowl near the edge? Also pushed off. I'm starting to believe my cat thinks he's a scientist studying gravity. Every object in the kitchen becomes part of his experiment. And just when things seem calm again, something unexpected happens. My cat suddenly gets a burst of energy. One moment he's sitting quietly, and the next moment he's sprinting across the kitchen like he's training for the Olympics. He runs across the floor, jumps onto the chair, slides across the table, and disappears down the hallway like a tiny furry tornado. 5 minutes later, he comes back walking slowly like nothing happened. Meanwhile, I'm still in the kitchen trying to finish cooking while cleaning the disaster that my assistant chef created. Finally, after all the chaos, the food is ready. The moment of truth has arrived. I put the finished dish on the table and call my cat over to see what he thinks. Who walks over slowly, sniffs the food very carefully, and stares at it for a few seconds. This is the moment every chef waits for. The customer's reaction. And then my cat does something incredible. He walks away. Just like that. After supervising the entire cooking process, inspecting every ingredient, and causing complete chaos in the kitchen, he decides he's not interested in the food at all. Instead, he sits next to his empty bowl and looks at me like I forgot something very important. Because, in his mind, the food I just cooked is not the real meal. The real meal is the tuna in his bowl. So after all that cooking, cleaning, and chaos, I end up opening a can of tuna for the real boss of the kitchen. My cat happily eats his tuna while the rest of the food sits on the table. And honestly, at this point, I've accepted the truth. I'm not the chef in this house. I'm just the assistant working for Chef Cat.